Sawadee welcome to Thailand, Sawadee Don Bye, what means good afternoon in Thailand, in Thai. And yeah, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon here in Thai, it's just after 1. And yeah, it's a Monday, 1 Jan. We've got Songkran coming up, which is the Thai New Year and Water Festival, which is going to be hectic and busy. But at the moment, etc., I'm back where I normally am because everybody's gone back to work, and so it's just me, myself, and I here at my what's it called, my umsum, where all the Thais have gone back to work. Lucky buggers. Honestly, you don't have to miss work. I miss going to work, and because you're not allowed to work in Thailand, for instance, and so all these people are thinking, I'm gonna get a job as a teacher, I'm gonna get a job as this, and no, no. And the competitiveness of, yes, there's a lot of schools, yes, there's a lot of teaching jobs, but there's also a lot of people coming from many different countries, and we've also got different skills. Yes, English teaching was good, but it's also very difficult. And also, since a Filipino woman, a child, now you've got to have the right qualifications, because she didn't have the right qualifications, and now you've got to have the degree and everything. So yeah, so it's not as easy to get work in Thailand. It really isn't. And they're cracking down even on YouTubers and saying, you need to pay tax. So yeah, holiday only, Thai people. Anyway, so let's move on. Let's talk about something else. So I was supposed to be okay. The reason why I'm doing this at 1 o'clock in the afternoon is because I was supposed to be doing. I was supposed to be going. I went for because I was going to Thailand or Lotus. Thailand is the market and the Lotus. So I was going to go get a bit of stuff, and I normally do a run, swim, and yoga. So, but I'm combining both now. So, for instance, I can do a run, swim, and then run up to Thailand, the market and Lotus. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. But I was going to run in a Manchester City top. And so, for instance, and yay, whatever, because after our win at very old Trafford in Stratford or Salford, wherever you want to call it, what's it called? But unfortunately, not Manchester, for instance, it was a draw. Now, I've heard a few comments, I've seen a few bits and pieces, some outrageous explanations and comments, etc. For instance, from some City fans, some context, etc., and some genuine, and and myself, etc. I just want to put the whole thing into context. I like to listen to other people talk, and listen to what they say. Not because I haven't got my own opinion. It's just about that. Can I form my own opinion about what they've seen as well? Again, for instance, it wasn't the greatest game, and it was called and there's a lot of I listened to ESPN and they were talking about this how far Manchester City's fallen. They kind of excuse United, but they're saying how far Manchester City's fallen. But again, for instance, and a lot of people will say, and then I heard, get rid of Gundo, get rid of Kovacic, get rid of blah blah blah, Pep out, the ball fraud, this, and it's all coming out. For instance, considering we've had a few good games, and like the likes of Gundogan, who's had to play a few games, and so what's going on? They were prey, and so it's like people like, Gundogan's had a pretty good, decent game. Well, Coventry's played well, and then suddenly we have one game, and it's boom, bang, the fireworks are out, the insults, the get rid of him, he needs to go, we need to get rid, absolutely terrible, la 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 la. Anyways, it's like, and I don't know what's worse at the moment, the tariffs announcement, etc., all this, for instance, and it's the over the top nonsense what actually drives me crazy. I just don't get it. Because when I was watching the game, and again, for instance, it wasn't the most exciting, without a shadow of a doubt, probably the worst derby. Good talk. I said derby. The worst Manchester, Salford, or Trafford, or game, etc. I've seen. It has. I've seen 0-0 draws before. There have been 0-0 draws, and like I've been to a few, and so, but it has happened. But this one was just bad because of the lack of quality. and they really wasn't. And yeah, and even though we had a few shots, and they huffed and puffed, 0-0 was probably about the best result. And probably the man of the match. I hate it. The man of the match is Fernandes. Yeah. And I can't believe I'm saying that rat-faced, dirty son of a whatever was man of the match. So and it was clear because everything what they did came from him. Now the quality between him and the other 10 was just incredible. Just amazing. Because regardless how much Man City are, United are garbage. Really, honestly, it got to a point where, for instance, I was watching the game. I was watching the United. Like United. Yeah, I was watching United push forward and getting a chance, and Bruno sending him in, and blah blah blah. And I was thinking, yeah, no worries. They'll miss it. They'll miss it. The ball will fly over. They'll miss the chance. They'll fluff his lines. Blah blah blah. And that was it. Yeah, and they did. Now, give due to our defenders because they were probably about the best players on the pitch for Manchester City. But with saying that though, United, I have never seen so many misplaced passes. I have never seen so many interceptions by them. Also by City, but by them, they're just a bad football club. Club, yeah, and team. They really are. And it's not being a biased City fan. They really weren't. I've never seen the ball go out as much. The cross-field balls, and they've ended up going out. For instance, but again, City also did the same thing. We weren't the best, etc. But with them, they're playing at home. They've been playing this system now for a while. But Højlund, you just didn't feel for 1 second that guy was ever going to do anything other than just do what he does. And I was just absolutely shocked. And again, for instance, we weren't the best, but they're bad. And the problem is, we made them look good. And that was it. And we should have been out of sight, out of mind, boom, boom, gone. Okay. But, right, and I'm going to put these into context now. Right. Before everybody goes up the pep outers and blah, 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 and I've got my blue eyes and this what's it called, and is distorting the facts or distorting the truth and blah, 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 really what went on. The thing is about the game, one thing I couldn't understand, because if I've got to blame anybody, I have to blame Pep. And I've got to blame Pep because I even though I was mildly concerned about the lineup, and why is he not playing Nico Gonzalez? Why was Kuzinov not playing again? Why we didn't play Doku or Savinho? And for instance, who've been playing well for us, and they play, like that, and we've gone back to exactly what we were before. So, but with saying that though, we did play well because again, for these guys played against Bournemouth the second half, etc. We were playing well. So, but I just couldn't think. But I'm also going to put it. And people kept saying about the age of our midfield, which is nonsense and everything like that. But the problem was in the game was the tactics, and the tactics was basically, for instance, if you look at the game, there was no wing play. Everything was centre. It was not until Doku came on in the second half, etc., where City got a bit more, leeway. And if Savinho would have come on, I was just praying for him to come on, that, for instance, we could have stretched the team. Now, Man City have always been about teams stretching the play, but everything was so compact. Nunes in the beginning was trying to run down, but then he stopped. Nick O'Reilly also, he would go so far, and then he would come in. And I just don't understand. I was thinking, why can't you get down to the byline? Why can't you get a ball, get across? And everything's too central. They sat on the back five when City got the ball, and everything was just compact in the centre. So I had the likes of Gundogan and Kovacic, trying to run, and Bernardo, for instance, trying to dribble past about 3 or 4 players. And of course, we were losing it, and they were getting us on because they were quite happy to step back. and they was getting us on the transition, and of course they'll go forward and miss. Okay, and so, for instance, and I felt that was it, you know, and I thought, well, why the hell can we not spread the game, spread the play by bringing on our wingers, you know, for instance? But it didn't take until the second half before Doku came on, etc. By that time, yeah, exactly. So, for instance, but Savino never came on. So I've got to blame Pep for what's it called for not understanding and seeing the play. Everything was too central. There was no wing play. There was nobody there. So, for instance, and I didn't get that at all. But the part and everything was going through again, the likes of Kovacic and Gundogan, and was good. And he was and they were trying to dribble through. And of course, once he lost the ball, then it's easy to get through us, and we're going back to what we were before. So I didn't get why Pep didn't change it. You know, so for instance, so earlier that, you know, so of course now the likes of Gundogan and Kovacic and Bernardo and other is getting the crap beaten out of them on the City comment pages on the website and on probably Talk Crap and things like that. The United will get the buy, but it'll be all about City. You know, and I just know it. You know, I'll probably turn on when I'm making dinner later, for instance, I'll probably turn on Talk Crap and see what they're saying. But I swear to God, right now, it will be all about how bad Man City played rather than how bad United played. Because United were just poor. They really were. You know, I thought, you know, I'm not being as bad as City fan. I thought United just didn't offer anything. You know, they were just, they had a couple of, you could say they had a couple of shots, you know, in the, Bruno was calling the shots, whatever he did, etc. For instance, he made the difference for them. But other than that, you know, they huffed and puffed, but you didn't feel for a second, etc. You felt like they were going to score. Maybe get a lucky bounce, or Casemiro trying to get his penalty, or whatever. It was a handball or something like that, or you know, and that's where you would feel that they were going to get a lucky goal. But other than that, you know, through the pure quality of football of their football players, you did not feel that. For instance, they were going to, do something. You know, like Zersky in the second half, etc. Had that shot against Edison, which is which he palmed away. You know, but other than that, you didn't feel that. For instance, United didn't offer. But then again, looking at City, for instance, our forward line, for instance, and Mamouche to me was the best. Was one of the best, the best City player, and he was shooting from outside, which had a couple of shots. But other than that, for instance, our forward line really didn't offer much. So it was no surprise when Phil Foden came off. Let's go through the game, because I'm moving way ahead. You know, you probably already know this anyway, so I'm just giving you my view. So let's go for the starting lineups for City. So we're Edison, Nunes, O'Reilly, Guardiola and Diaz, defenders. Ilkay, Kevin, Mateos. We're playing in a diamond. Bernardo Silva, Mamouche and Foden. So, what's it called? But we also, on the bench, again, we have Gonzalez, Rico Lewis, Fabinho, Kuzinov, Ortega, Reese, Jack Grealish, Jeremy Doku, and Jason Mackie. So, for instance, so we had enough to change it round. I know Grealish came on, etc., but unfortunately, it didn't affect the play in the way he was. But also, he was playing on the left-hand side. But you know, we also we needed to. Why can't we have somebody on the right-hand side? You know, to change it, putting Bernardo out. You know, and with Savino, you know, I didn't get that. So, but the stats. Let's have a look at the stats. Now, the stats are Man City had most possession. No surprise there. Shots on target, 5 for them, 3 for City. Off target, sorry, on target, 5 for Man City. In the box, 2 for them. Now, if you look at, so I've got corners 5-3, fouls 13-9, yellow cards 3-2. Again, for instance, a lot of their yellow cards is when they come on, when Doku came on, and that is when he started running at them. And if Savino would have come on, etc., I thought we would probably get more joy, but no, and stretch the game. Offside was 2 for 1. But other than that, you know, it was a ball game. It really was, and for instance, passing accuracy, Mamouche got 100%. Josko Gualio. The people, for instance, again, I would actually call out to say had a good game was Martinez Nunes. I thought he had a decent game, and I wish he would have continued bombing forward rather than do. Omar Moose, who really tried, but unfortunately also a lot of our players didn't pass to him again. It wasn't like the Haaland thing, but he was popping up everywhere, and he was. I thought every time he got the ball, I felt he was. I felt yeah, he offered something. What else? I would say Ruben Diaz. Again, our defenders, I can't complain about the defenders. Nico Riley got taken off. I thought he did. He had a few mistakes, but overall, what he's also he was for instance, he was solid, should I say? You know, call that. Total passes: Ruben Diaz 87, Bernardo 75, Renato Kovic 74, touches: Bernardo Silva 101, shots: Mamouche 4, Kevin De Bruyne 2, Phil Foden 2. You know, I know Kevin had a, but a lot they were P-roll shots, easy. Phil Foden had that first shot in the first half, not really good. Tackles 1, Bernardo 4, Matthias 2, Amamus 2. Yeah, so it's overall, for instance, it wasn't the best. For instance, you know, again, I'm just it is disappointing. It is disappointing. Um, you know, and I was expecting a lot better from City. You know, like Pep says, we have control, but not in the right spots to hurt them in the first half. A little better in the first minutes of the second half. United have been incredible in transition, defending us deeply with Garnacho and the pace they have. They linked inside. They know perfectly what they have to do. Yeah. Coveted Virgins. It was tough. They were aggressive in the mid blocks. So it was, in the mid. But it was tough to find the right spaces to play. Again, the right spaces to play because he had no space. Because everything was central. You know, it was tough in the mid block. So he's getting slighted on because he's too old, blah, 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 combinations. But the problem is there was no space in the centre because everything was condensed. It was tough to create chances, and we had to be careful with the counter attack because they were good at going forward. It was a typical derby. We wanted to win, but we had to take the move on. Diaz Virgin. It was a very difficult game. They were always dangerous. I feel today was go a point would do. It's not easy, and they are so low and so many numbers. It's difficult. I felt in the first half we had moments. We arrived at the moment, but you know we should have been more difference. Yeah, but there's positives. The worst thing is the Chelsea loss. Drop points. So with City dropping points, that for instance, they lost against 2-1 against Brentford. So for instance, with City, if we'd have got that, we'd have got cemented top 4 with Newcastle playing today against Leicester. So it's not the worst result because a 1-1, for instance, a point is better than no points, e.g. Chelsea. So for instance, it was but the fact that we would have made our lives a lot better with going into a home game against Crystal Palace. So, for instance, you could say apart from the Aston Villa game, etc., we got coming up. For instance, that was probably our hardest game or most tightest game, etc., because we had to go away to their wasteland. So it is not the worst result, you know, but it is just disappointing the fact that, for instance, you know, it could have been a lot better, and we could have won a lot better. You know, we could have taken our more chances. I think we would have brought the wingers on. We would have spread the play. It wouldn't be as tight as what Matthias was saying in the centre, and we wouldn't have to worry about their on the counter attack. And it's not the worst point to drop, but it's just disappointing. We've got a week to talk about this, basically, for instance, and because I'm sure there'll be other bits and pieces coming up. Again, I'm disappointed with the fact against Leicester we didn't score enough goals. in second half we didn't press out, and then they should have on soccer or and if we're going to sign, take off Gundo, for instance, and bring it on. What was his name? Nico O'Reilly, not O'Reilly. Called Nico Gonzalez. For instance, what's the story there? I don't get. So for a bit more strength in the midfield. So and speed in the midfield. So we were our own faults. We were our own worst enemy, and we created what we didn't do. Again, for instance, we should have changed it. Pep should have changed it a lot quicker. When he saw the centre being so condensed, then he should have brought on the wingers so we can spread the pitch and get the balls in for Mamouche. But we didn't do it. So, and that's it. And I think I was expecting Kevin De Bruyne, but again, with everything so condensed, it was a bit difficult even Kevin to operate. So, but it was disappointing. But again, it's not the worst result. Well, at least we picked up a point. For instance, we're going to Palace next week, and then see what happens. Liverpool lost, again. We can't, Arsenal drew, was it 1-1? Again, the Premier League. For instance, we've got Villa coming up. It's probably our hardest one. But Villa, they're playing PSG home and away. They've got Newcastle. They're playing City. They've got the FA Cup semi-final. They've got a lot on their dinner plate at the moment. So that's not a given. A lot of people say they will lose against Villa, but I'm not so sure. I think they'll for instance, if they pick up any injuries, etc. But we'll see. Anyway. So I'll talk to you tomorrow. We'll get more information and get more relaxed and having to, get more, listen to a few more podcasts, etc. And pick myself up against the floor. I again, New York Gawk, etc. Listen to this guy. He said, "I want the season to end," and I said, "I don't blame you, mate. I feel the same way." Oh God, it's just God, we just need to go. I go, yeah. Anyway, could be worse. Could be waking up to be 13th position at the moment. And anyway, guys, I'm going to love you and leave you. True Blue Tie from Thailand. Like and subscribe. Tell me what you're thinking. Try and cheer me up, please. So, for instance, I will. Sue. And take care of yourselves. It's a lovely sunny day over the UK. I know they were bragging about the weather forecast as warm as in Mumbai. 21 degrees. I freeze at 21. Anyway, take care, guys. Love you. Sorry, I don't know you. Take care. Sorry, Cat from Thailand, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.